This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan. We're going to move really fast because I have a lot to cover and I don't want to lose you because at the end there is some breaking news. I had already set up this sequence, so I put it at the end. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to keep you there, but the news is really, really fabulous. First, the Dow shed 650 points in Monday's trading. China finished lower today, fourth straight session down. The Nikkei in Japan basically unchanged. Futures in the US have risen slightly, which could point to some green on the traditional markets on Tuesday, but the Senate has really checked out. They are due to leave town for the final week of the election campaigning, and the House has already done so. So nothing is going to happen on the package of what everyone was hoping would come before the election. So there is a little bit of uncertainty. The critical point here is that I want to show you on the broader crypto markets that we have been able to hold on to gains despite all this uncertainty globally. This is significant because if you're in this space, you have always seen more correlation to the traditional markets than you might think. But gosh, look at BTC, still kissing 13,412. And it is just looking very, very strong, like it has found support. So this helps everybody in the space. This video is going to give you some key information on the Flare network and Spark token, the company Ripple, the digital asset XRP. I have a little bit of news about XinFin. I want to talk about Bitcoin mining. There is some news that just doesn't hit the mainstream news. I want to talk a little bit about that because it relates to XRP and SBI and everybody in this space. And I'm quickly going to go on a faster than usual pace, because it is so much. And I curated these stories because I think they're important. And yes, a lot of times these are not in the mainstream news. Now, there is somebody from the crypto community who made a video, released it on the 25th, and it was retweeted by the official Flare Network's Twitter page that explains the network and the Spark token supply. So the fact that it was retweeted, I know that it is something you can trust. In this video, you're going to learn about the network, the Spark token, how the governance will function, about Spark distribution, about Flare Foundation, and how the future may look. And I think it is a really good one. I want to thank this person who is, I think, living in Poland, who put this out. It was, one of the best I have seen. Anti-FOMO. All right. It was really, really good. So all of you know who follow this channel that I did the video on the R3 Corda inspired Corda project that has a XDC coin, which is also the same ticker as the XDC token inside the XinFin ecosystem. They are, as I said before, separate projects confirmed in this tweet. And yes, using the same ticker. It does happen in crypto more often than you might think. I will be able to share with you through a video coming up very soon, because I got confirmation today that I'll be able to have this interview discussion with Atul Kiked. He is the co-founder of XinFin. This is an open source hybrid blockchain platform for global trade and finance with interoperable smart contracts. It provides instant settlement, and in my opinion, it's a project with huge partners and alliances, and the progress they have made should not go unnoticed. I think it's very, very interesting. And I almost fell out of my chair when I learned that he has written a book and did so during the lockdown based on discovering Ikigai. Remember, I did a Fluff segment just about 2 weeks ago on Ikigai. It's a way to find your way in life by nurturing what you are passionate about and what you are good at. It's a concept that has very strong roots from Japan. I just can't believe it. I can't wait to read it. And then I am going to tell you that I'm not going to feel comfortable until I really can say his name correctly. Let me just play this for you so you can hear how he says his name.
So I'm Atul Khekde. I'm the co-founder.
I'm Atul Kake. All right. I think I'm okay with Atul, but I will practice his last name. So moving to another story that I think is very, very worth paying attention to. This is Marathon Patent Group. They were once a uranium miner and then later a real estate company. They're backed by really big investors. Their headquarters is in Las Vegas, and they just ordered 10,000 pro miners from Bitmain. This is going to now bring them to a total of 23,560 miners. The reason why I'm covering this is threefold, actually. First, this is a very bullish decision to spend this kind of money because it is obviously anticipating higher prices. Secondly, this will make them the largest self-miner in North America. And we really want to pay attention to this balance of who controls mining. Now, this isn't a pool miner. They are a self miner. That is really good because it balances the control more shifting from the Chinese miners, which we need to have a very healthy ecosystem. And I think that this space needs to be cognizant of that. And with their first facility, they were in Quebec, Canada. But on the 13th of October, Marathon announced that they did a joint venture with the Beowulf Energy Group for 105 megawatts of Bitcoin mining data center that's going to have a new location. This is 20 acres in Hardin, Montana. It's going to get their production costs down to just a little bit over 2 cents. And that is cheap, giving them an aggregate cost of 0.034 cents. It gives them a break-even cost of a Bitcoin from 7,500 per coin to 4,600. It's really interesting. This has become a business that requires a lot of capital to be competitive. Here is the satellite view of the power plant. It's something that's been inactive since 2017, but it is operable. And what do they operate it with? I'm sure you can guess. Coal. Coal-fired power plants have declined in Montana, but still it remains a significant source of revenue for the state. 4 years ago, it brought in over 81 million. This is what coal mining looks like if you've never seen that before. It employs this particular location, 380 people. It's in southeastern Montana where there's a lot of coal. It's called Westmoreland Coal Mines. So for this balance that I think we are really needing, SBI is one of those that have been that has been seeking a little bit of that shift in power. This is what Mr. Kitao has said he wants to do, and they decided to go to Rockdale, Texas, to use the old Alcoa plant. That mining facility looks like this. It is quite large. It's powered by natural gas, and this is supposedly the largest data center for mining pools in the world. And it is rapidly growing, and they are incorporating wind and solar as an innovative way, along with their artificial intelligence that controls the cooling system. So I want to show you something very positive that's happening, because natural gas, when it's burned, it does result in a methane gas, which is not very good for the environment. There is a company, though, that is repurposing this natural gas, the flares, They harness power then for these outflows to power Bitcoin miners. This is brand new technology, like within just a month or two. And this is a company out of Colorado. It's worth the 1 minute to level up your knowledge.
Our goal is to eliminate the routine flaring of natural gas in the United States and internationally. We do that by deploying mobile modular data centers directly to the pad site where natural gas is otherwise being flared, burned in the air, because operators do not always have access to traditional natural gas infrastructure like pipelines. Our value proposition is a low or no cost way to eliminate flaring, reduce emissions, and achieve regulatory compliance. We have a way to capture that gas that was being flared and convert it into something useful without significant expense or difficulty for the operator. We deploy our mobile modular computing units to the well site and consume all that gas that was being wasted. In this way, we convert wasted energy into fuel for computation. Digital flare mitigation is an innovative new solution to a major environmental challenge, and we are proud to offer this to the energy industry.
Oh, I hope they are really successful rolling that out. All right, some news from SBI, and this is really, again, interesting. Yamaguchi Financial Group, which owns 3 regional banks here in Japan, they invested in SBI's MoneyTap, which of course runs on RippleNet. And today it was announced that the app, which is provided by SBI, is going to be done so as a white label solution. That is interesting. So Yamaguchi Bank, Momiji Bank, Kitakyushu Bank are going to run this app using RippleNet. Now, somebody asked me, what does this mean for XRP? I think that's a good question because I sometimes do too much assuming, and I'm so sorry. What it means is the banks are getting to use a tool through SBI to take their banking business globally, offering RippleNet tech and with the expansion to use XRP for remittances, as said by Mr. Kitao, the CEO, who is part of leading this Section 1 public company in Japan that has to be transparent and has to be truthful to shareholders. So that is what it means. And I know it's not happening fast enough for people who own XRP, but I'm telling you, the ecosystem for the use of XRP is being built out. This is not a project that is stuck in the mud by any means. And, you know, I just want you to really think a little bit bigger here. Ant Group is going to raise, what, $34 billion in its IPO, which is going to bring its valuation to something like $313 billion. It's going to be the biggest IPO of all time. The reason why it was really annoying, that blinking business, why I want to point that out is because some people are checking for the Ripple IPO on the SEC site in the United States. You got to think much bigger than that. If you're only watching the registration in the US, I think it's too narrow of a scope. Here, for example, SBI was the underwriter of 75 cases in 2019, and so far in Japan, 58 of them have been underwritten by SBI. 8 of which they have led. So to properly follow that IPO news, I think you need to follow more than just the SEC in the United States. And the news that is breaking is really one that, again, they have a huge stock exchange. And the news came to me, it just broke about an hour ago from Ripple. Well, actually, I don't know who broke the news, if it was the block. Yogita, I know, wrote an article, but for me, the first time I saw it was from Ripple Panda XRP, one of my favorite people from Singapore. And Singapore's biggest bank, DBS, is launching a crypto exchange. This is a fiat to crypto. It's huge. They're going to launch with BTC, BCH, XRP, and Ethereum. It will be paired to the Singapore dollar. the Hong Kong dollar, the Japanese yen, and the US dollar. The exchange is offering custody and STOs, and it's going to go after the institutional investor. The institutional investor is the secret key to XRP's liquidity. In Asia, crypto is mainstream. All right, everybody, we are jumping to the fluff. So there's a new kind of plush toy series in Japan. I had to take a triple take on this when I saw it. The white big plush is a polar bear, and the polar bear is eating a seal, and the seal is eating a salmon, and the salmon is eating a crustacean of some sort. I don't know what kind. I was really taken aback by this, what they call the sense of wonder. It's being sold at aquariums and zoos and toy stores around, but wow, look at this. Here's the killer whale who is eating a seal, who's, I think, eating a penguin, who's eating a fish that's eating a crustacean. So it's really teaching kids the ecosystem of the world, which I think is, I don't know, I'd love to hear your response because I was a little bit surprised to see this. I think it's good, don't get me wrong, but I have to tell you that it's very different than the stuffed animals I grew up with. And then there is kind of a voting competition that goes on in Japan for Japanese to vote of their favorite region of the country for, I think they do it for highlighting tourism, my guess is. I'm not sure what the real reason is, but Hokkaido generally gets the #1 vote all the time, and Tochigi gets the last position all the time. And it doesn't make any sense because Tochigi is one of the most beautiful parts of Japan. And I think the people of Tochigi felt a little bit like, hey, guys, you're not paying attention to what we have here. So they did this really beautiful 8K video that highlights all of the spectacular scenery. It's a little on the rural side. There's a lot of nature in Tochigi. It's not far from Tokyo. If you go by just a regular train, I think you can get there in less than 2 hours. And it is spectacular scenery. It is, I don't know why it's not getting more votes. Maybe because people feel like there's not a lot to do there because it is so out of the way and in the countryside and in the mountains. And I don't know, I think it has a lot to offer, a lot. And so I would definitely recommend, if you love nature and you're not a city person, Tochigi is definitely a part of Japan that you would just love. And the history is there with, with all of the cultural sides of life in all the country. It has its deep, rich culture too. So it's, it's got its own unique subculture as all the kind of rural areas of Japan have. They have a special dialect, and they have, of course, their foods that they're known for. And yeah, geographically, even though this is a very small country, because it is so mountainous, it has had isolated communities for so long that there are a lot of individual cultural differences between places that are geographically not so far apart, but culturally are far apart, even within this one country. It's interesting. Anyway, I'll put a link to this video in the description below too, so you can enjoy it. They really, I think, went all out to show the beauty of Tochigi. All right, everybody, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.